Right, guys, so we talked about statutory versus contractual, and I just now want to clarify what the two things mean and how this could affect you as a landlord, okay? So, firstly, statutory periodic tenancies. There was a case called Super Strike v. Rodriguez, and what that did was it was a deposit. It was a case about deposits, but the ruling that came from it was that every statutory rolling tenancy created a new tenancy. So what that means is that every tenancy has a fixed term. So a 6-month period. At the end of that 6 months, it rolls on for a period of 1 month. And it will do that every month until you either end the tenancy or renew the tenancy for a further fixed term. But what that means is every single month that that tenancy is statutory rolling, you are creating a new tenancy. Now, what does that mean in terms of your obligations? Okay, these are just 3 things that it can affect. Now, I'm going to go back to the previous slide so I can cover the other section. But what this means is the electric regulation. So if your tenancy goes into a statutory rolling contract, you must make sure on the day that it goes rolling, you have an EICR. You must also make sure that you don't hold a deposit above 5 weeks, because the Tenant Fees Act that came into force on the 1st of June 2019 doesn't allow any new tenancy to hold a deposit higher than 5 weeks. So this will affect you if your tenancies go rolling statutory. Now, the big one, guys, is council tax. Council tax liability can only be passed to a tenant if a tenancy is for more than 6 months. Not can only be passed to a tenant, sorry. Under the eyes of council tax law, council tax regulations, which is a thing on its own, you can only make the tenant responsible under their eyes if the tenancy is for more than is for 6 months or more. So if you've got a statutory rolling tenancy that becomes a new tenancy every month, how long is that tenancy, Ali? 1 month.
1 month. Sorry, my mic wasn't on. I was ready for that.
So every month you are going to be creating a new tenancy, and therefore, if the council tax became aware or the tenant stopped paying the council tax, you could be made responsible to pay the council tax. Now, this came out of a case called Leeds City Council vs Broadley, where they tried to pursue him for 5 properties, council tax on all of them. Okay, he managed to get out of it. But the reason he did was because he had this clause, guys. Look at this clause at the bottom of the slide. This clause within your tenancy will create what's called a contractual rolling tenancy. So in the eyes of you and the tenant, it really makes no difference because it's still a rolling tenancy. You still have to give the same amount of notice if you want to leave, and so does the tenant. But you're not creating a new tenancy every month. You're just creating an extension of the old one. Make sense, Ali?
Absolutely.
Make sense, guys. I hope you're still with me. I know that I'm 10 minutes over. I promise to finish soon, but I'm really pleased that a fair few of you still watching. Does anybody have any questions about SPT v CPT? Because this can become quite tricky if you do not have this in there. Please feel free to take a picture if you wish to use it, because we don't want you to fall foul of any of these pieces of legislation.